Who Moved My Cheese? By Spencer Johnson is a motivational book that explores how people deal with change and adapt to new situations. The story is set in a maze where four characters search for cheese, which serves as a metaphor for what we desire in life. The two mice in the story are named Sniff and Scurry, while the two little people are named Hem and Haw. These four fictional characters represent both the straightforward and complex aspects of our personalities. Regardless of which aspects of ourselves we choose to utilize, we all share the common goal of navigating the maze and achieving success under ever-evolving circumstances. Book overview. The story begins with a reunion of old friends who gather to catch up on their lives, including the challenges they've faced in their work and personal lives, and how they've overcome them. One friend shares how his business was on the brink of failure until he heard a transformative story that helped him turn things around. He then proceeds to recount the tale. Once upon a time, in a land far away, two mice and two little people lived together in a vast maze. Initially, everyone is highly dedicated to their work, waking up early each morning to work hard and acquire cheese. One day, the mice Sniff and Scurry stumble upon an abundance of cheese. Not far away, the little people, Hem and Haw, also discover a large quantity of cheese, which symbolizes wealth or the things people desire in life. They all settle down to enjoy their cheese, or in other words, savor the good things in their lives. While the humans kick off their shoes, slip on their slippers, and relish their mountain of cheese, the mice leave their running shoes by the station and return daily to check for any changes, like if the cheese has spoiled or dwindled. This implies that people remain oblivious to the possibility that their wealth or cheese might eventually run out. And then, one day, the cheese disappears. Sniff and Scurry, the mice, explore the room for more, but find none, leading to mounting frustration. Sniff and Scurry decide to venture back into the maze to search for more cheese. They prepare for their journey by putting on their running shoes and glancing at Hem and Haw to see if they'll follow suit. When Hem and Haw attempt to join them, Sniff and Scurry wave them off, indicating that they'll remain in the room overnight in hopes that the cheese will reappear by morning. Sniff and Scurry embark on their quest to scour the rest of the maze for additional cheese. Upon Sniff detecting a fresh food source, he dashes toward the location. They swiftly discover an abundance of cheese and commence feasting. In contrast, Hem and Haw persist in visiting the empty room daily, clinging to the hope of finding fresh cheese. They struggle to accept that their comfortable lifestyle has come to an end. Hem grows enraged, convinced that someone else moved their cheese. He continues to question, how could they treat us like this? Where's the cheese? How could they do this to us? And so on. Hem insists that they should wait for the others to return their cheese as they're entitled to it. By doing so, Hem points the finger at external factors. Moreover, their prolonged lack of nourishment leaves them increasingly feeble. Haw, on the other hand, isn't as certain and wonders if they should search for cheese in a different location or if Sniff and Scurry have already found some. Hem, however, remains stubborn and refuses to leave. After a few days of hunger and realizing that the cheese won't magically reappear, Haw decides to venture into the maze alone, despite his fear and solitude. As Haw explores, he discovers small pieces of cheese scattered in various places. Although he feels worried and confused, he acknowledges that the search is an exciting adventure rather than something negative. Haw reflects that if he had paid closer attention when there was still an abundance of cheese, he would have noticed it gradually decreasing and losing its flavor. He could have prevented the cheese from spoiling. Even though Haw couldn't find a large fresh cheese at the time, he was content with his decision to leave the empty room. After making the decision to take action, he felt more energized and in control. Whenever he had doubts, he would envision himself obtaining the largest cheese in the world, which motivated him to continue. As Haw gains new insights, he writes them on the walls of the maze, hoping that Hem will someday find his way out and use the notes as guidance. One day, Haw stumbles upon a massive cache of cheese in the same area where Sniff and Scurry reside. Overjoyed, Haw quickly settles in but keeps his running shoes nearby in case this batch of cheese runs out. Haw also checks the cheese station daily, inspecting for signs of moldy cheese or other indicators of potential issues. He contemplates finding Hem and bringing him to try the new cheese, but ultimately decides that Hem should make his own choice. He had left enough clues for Hem to follow if he desired to escape his situation. Haw also recognized that he could have discovered the new cheese faster had he entered the maze earlier. Still, he reminded himself, Better late than never. Upon hearing this story, the students discuss its relevance to their own lives. Michael is pleased that they enjoyed the story and encourages them to share it with others. Key highlights from the book. 1. Accept and embrace change. Change is the only constant in this world. Whether it pertains to your job or business, things will change over time, and you must adapt accordingly. Failure to do so may result in a fate similar to Hem's in the story, losing your cheese. Customers abandon individuals and businesses that refuse to evolve. The book underscores that change is an inevitable part of life, and we should anticipate it. When we become overly comfortable in a specific situation, complacency sets in, potentially leading to our downfall. 2. When faced with challenging changes, seek new opportunities for personal growth. When Hem and Haw confronted the disappearance of cheese, they responded by blaming each other and taking no action to improve their circumstances. Instead, they could have focused on aspects within their control. Similarly, as changes arise, we must continue exploring new avenues and opportunities to broaden our perspectives. When change occurs, we should act proactively rather than wait for a return to the previous state. In the book, Hem initially waits for the cheese to return, but eventually realizes he must take action and search for new cheese to survive. 3. Overcome your fears. You might choose to remain in your current situation due to fear, as Haw initially did. However, once you begin envisioning the positive outcomes of embracing change, your anxiety will diminish. Recall Haw's question, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" Haw realizes that his fear of venturing out for more cheese was unfounded. He had allowed his fear to grow, but the reality wasn't as dire. He encounters challenges in the maze but recognizes that he's happier being in control of his life rather than being a victim of circumstance. He perseveres by consistently visualizing himself enjoying new cheese. Visualizing your goals is one method to overcome fear, as demonstrated by Haw. Create a vision of a future that inspires you to strive for improvement. Once you initiate change, it may not be as daunting as you initially perceived. 4. Stay vigilant at all times. Like Sniff and Scurry, some individuals are continuously attentive to the changes occurring around them. These individuals promptly recognize, adapt to, and benefit from change. It is essential to emulate their behavior. Stay alert to changes that may arise within the next 6 to 10 years. Enhance your skills and progress in the right direction. We should always be attentive to indicators of change and be prepared to adapt swiftly. In the book, Sniff and Scurry exemplify this principle by perpetually moving and refraining from becoming overly attached to a single source of cheese. 5. It's more beneficial to embrace change than to resist it. Many people perceive change negatively and believe it should be avoided. They often dwell on the past. There are moments when progression is advantageous. In fact, the technological advancements we currently take for granted are the direct result of historical changes. When you acknowledge that change is inevitable and maintain a positive attitude toward it, you can appreciate the process of change. Change can be frightening and challenging, but it also presents an opportunity for growth and personal development. In the book, Haw learns to welcome change and even becomes enthusiastic about the prospect of discovering new cheese. Conclusion: change, which cannot be halted, is the sole constant. It will undoubtedly transpire. Everyone possesses their unique approach to managing change. Some individuals choose to sit back, blame external forces, and wallow in self-pity. Others, stubbornly, resist change. However, there are also those who are perpetually prepared, willing, and capable of recovering and making the most of their circumstances. In the story, cheese is found, relocated, and then rediscovered. Even if changes are unfavorable, we can still attain our cheese by adjusting our habits, confronting challenges head-on and endeavoring to surmount the mental barriers that hinder our acceptance of change and transformation into proactive individuals. Who Moved My Cheese is a succinct yet impactful book that imparts a valuable lesson about adapting to change. The book is pertinent to anyone grappling with personal or professional change. By embracing change and taking action, we can uncover new opportunities and flourish in novel situations.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on more informative content.